All right, so many of you have been following my channel. It's kind of, I know it's mostly e-bike, but I also do the occasional automotive, and I do enjoy that side of things. I don't maybe spend enough time in it, but I thought this one might be kind of interesting to some of you that are looking at alternative ways of owning a car. So certainly I've gotten rid of a car. We're down to one, and actually this one car is now owned by my daughter. It's a 2004. This is where I was putting the tire pressure monitor, individual third-party item. I don't know how to say it, but anyway, yeah, this thing right here. And that works really well, by the way. Still love that thing. Unfortunately, this car is just starting to break down. It's a 2004, continually having problems. So I wanted to mix it up a little bit. There are a couple of interesting things out there. So here's where we come from. I've got like another 10 months of having a car, a safe car, and I don't want to actually purchase one because my both my daughters eventually will be up at the same kind of college area, sharing an apartment. So really one car is good, but I would like to have one safe car for like 10 months, right? So understanding that, if I go and buy a new car, now here's one that kind of jumped out at me, right? Carvana, you've seen the ads, they're doing a lot of ads. In fact, they were doing I don't know if it's still on, a Black Friday deal. They chopped like $1,000 off some of the cars. So yeah, in fact, they still have it going on this weekend, and even on the cheaper cars. So if you take a look at that, I mean, this is an option too, but I only need the car for 10 months. I don't want to commit to something. I don't want to buy it, even if I could pay for a $10,000 car, let's say, in cash, because I might get a different type of vehicle, right? This is just for my to get my daughter through and for the family to use down here until they're up both together in college. So now that we got that framed up, let's look. So we went through the car, we looked at Carvana. My concern here is, boom, you buy a car, and then if you want to turn around and sell it for something different in 10 months, you're definitely going to lose probably $3,000 at a minimum, right? Let's just say $3,000. So then I came across this thing, and it's actually kind of a cool concept. Don't know if you've seen this. It's Fair, the app. If you go to the App Store or the Play Store, and essentially what you do is you scan in. They've got a video here, which I've already played. But
I don't mean I shop for a car. I mean I went from I want a car to here's my car. Using an car.
Yeah, so I'm not going to put you through the pain of watching this whole thing, but essentially what you do is you key in your information. They make it seem really like it happens immediately. It really doesn't. I scanned my driver's license. I gave them there's an additional like credit check, and make sure. That's one thing I did tell them that's a mistake in their app, is they don't tell you they use TransUnion to do a what's it called? It's not a hard check, it's a soft check on your credit. So you need to release, if you have your credit frozen, like I freeze mine, you can unfreeze it. By the way, that's another thing I want to talk to you about. You should download all 3 major credit agencies. They all have apps now, and you can release and hold for free your credit. It doesn't cost extra. A lot of these credit agencies were selling you, third-party services or the services they provided that actually you'd have to pay monthly for to protect your credit. You don't need to do any of that anymore. You just there was a bill signed, and now you can download the apps for free. You can lock and release your credit on the fly, and so highly recommend that. But one thing the app doesn't tell you, and they don't tell you here until you get into the app, is by then it's too late. You want to release TransUnion credit first before you download this app. Do that, then it gets you through a little faster. You still have to do some sort of proof of, like, okay, here's an electricity bill, which is what I did. A proof of, they also said pay stubs and or credit card or something like that. You have to provide copies, email them in. They say they respond within 48 hours. We'll see. I started this process on Friday, yesterday, and it's already been, it's Saturday, so I don't think I'm going to hear anything until Monday. I did call their customer service when I had that credit issue and asked them some questions about it. They were very helpful. I've seen mixed reviews. If you look at the reviews on this app, mixed reviews people are having. But overall, like once we get past this, again, I don't have to commit to anything right away. But the cool thing is, we'll explore some cars. You can get a car, and you're essentially, I'd call it like a light lease. So they have this thing called a start payment. So let's say I want to drop this down. Well, you drop this down to like, this is even when you lease a vehicle, right? Typically you have to put some money down. Well, that's what this is. Same thing. A start payment is how much money you want to put down. You're never going to see this money again. So even if you drop it down, let's say we drop it down to say 600, they have 20 cars in the entire United States, all locations. Now, don't let this fool you, because like if you say, okay, well, I live in Orange County, but I don't see Orange County here. I see Los Angeles. If you click Los Angeles, this is showing me everywhere in Los Angeles. Now you have to pay attention. One thing that is a little annoying, and I've also seen this in reviews, their search engine is kind of whack sometimes, or some people can be confused by it. So, but you have to pay attention to this right here. 0 cars in LA that have a start payment of 600. So let's bump it to 7. There we go. Now we have 72 cars. Now you can go all the way to the max also, which is what, 2,500? And you can get some really high-end cars. They've got Corvette, BMWs, Lexus, all that stuff, right? So you got that. So again, here's the low point for LA. So at a minimum, you're going to choose something at $700. Now, again, you never see that again, so you have to factor that in. Let's say you want to hang out of this car for 10 months like I do. Now, what that is I have to throw on an additional $70 if I want to factor out how much it's costing me per month, another $70 that I'll never see again, right? That I'm spending and throwing it away. Now, let's say we've got, so now again, it's for my daughter. She wants to learn to drive. We're looking at something like I think we wanted like a Toyota Yaris was a cool little car. Here's one here for $185. You click on it, and then within here, it's going to tell you where it's actually located. Pickup location is actually in Commerce. So there are different dealers that actually can subscribe to this too. It's kind of an interesting network. I don't have it all figured out. But this car, which already has 50,000 miles, is a 2015, is available once I plop the $700 down, and then it's $185 a month. And you pay in the rears, as they say. And so you don't pay right away. And then on my first payment, after I've had it for 1 month, then I'm going to pay the $185. I do think you would pay the $700 in advance. I have no clue because I haven't done it yet. I'm still waiting to get approved, and we'll see how that all goes. But yeah, I mean, so if you take the $185, let's do the math, shall we? Where is my old calculator? I'll do this on the screen so you guys can see it too. Where's the calculator? Here it is. All right, so we've got the 185 plus 70. All right, so it's $255 a month, and then I'm going to be doing this for 10 months. Oh, I know we can do this. It's just going to be 2,550 times 10, just to make it official. There we go. So in 10 months, I'll spend this much money, right? If everything goes well, and there aren't any other kind of unforeseen expenses other than gas and all the other stuff, right? But we're going to have to pay for gas. And the reason why I'm not going with an electric car is the electric car that we could afford to be much more than this. So we can take a look and see if there are any Teslas in the list here. I believe there are. But if I were to buy a car right now today worth 10 grand, and in 10 months I flip it to something else, even if I sell it myself, I guarantee you I'm going to lose $2,500. So this is going to be a much easier deal. I don't need to sell anything. And the cool part is it's not really a lease. I can walk away in a month or 2 months. Now, I lose that $700 money that you do plop down. That goes away. But it adds for amazing flexibility. The other thing, if you're willing to walk away from, again, that start payment, depending on how steep it may be. So let's pick LA, and let's see if we can find. This is the thing that's kind of annoying. You have to it's weirdly designed. Now let's just go ahead and peek that out. Now let's change the make, and let's go to. They list all these cars. I don't think these all are in inventory. Tesla. Boom. There we go. Now this is steep, right? This is. You'd really, if you didn't want to commit to a car, and you're like, hey, what's it like? But think about it. What is it like to own a Tesla? I have no idea. I could find out right now, right? If I'm approved. And we'll see. No, it should be. But, so, yes, it's going to be steep. $1,310 is the payment. What's the start? I think you have to see that in the app. Yeah, to view it, you have to view it in the app. I don't know why that is. But I'm assuming it's not going to be $700. Let's say it's going to be at least $1,000. And so you could keep it for like a month, blow a couple grand, know what it's like to drive a Tesla, get it out of your system, and you're good, right? You can walk away. You're good. You walk away, give it back to the dealer wherever you got it, and you move forward. The other cool part is, let's get into some of the fun cars here. What was the Chevy? Okay, here, let's change the price. Yeah, let's bump this up. Like in that range. Really? This is what I'm talking about. Like, even though I set it a certain way, there are 34 cars, and it's not really showing me clear filters. I'm not going to edit this out. I just want to, okay, here, we're just going to do this. There we go. So this is like in the 900 range. So you could get yourself a Denali, a Yukon. Now, those are kind of cool. What else? Oh yeah, Porsche. They get into some Porsches, some really expensive Porsches. They have this nice Mercedes if you're into that. They've got nice pickup trucks. Oh yeah, here you go. There's the Corvette for $905. This is the Corvette right here, and it actually tells you. So this one's in Texas, but if I narrow it down to my area, there are some in my area as well. But if you were so inclined, you could do this. In fact, you could go pick it up. The other thing they do tell you, if you put a lot of miles, you'll want to prepay for extra miles. I believe they give you 10,000 miles in the FAQ, if we look this up. What is fair? How does it work? Download the app, get pre-qualified, pick the car you want, link your bank account, and sign and drive away. And they get into, if you change your mind, you get 3 days and 100 miles. After you sign, you can return it. Some people I read on the app complain that they didn't get to pick the car up until like the third day. So they decided, I guess at that point, they wanted to not take that car, and they ended up having, I don't know if this is true or what, but that's what somebody wrote if you look at some of the reviews. How do you determine the monthly payment? So I'm gonna go through this, but they told me on the phone that you do have to determine if you're going to use extra miles. I think you give you 10,000 miles a year, and if you're going to use more, you can prepay, then it's cheaper. But if you don't prepay, then you're going to pay a premium, just like in a lease, right? If those of you that have leased a car. So anyway, I'm more than likely, if I'm approved, I'm going to pull the trigger on this, and you guys can see my experience to see. They do say it's commitment free, no long-term contracts, that at some point you can just walk away and they'll bill you the closing amount and you're all done. So check it out. I'm not sponsored by these guys at all. I'm just completely curious. I've purchased a lot of cars, used cars, new cars, leased cars, and this is kind of a cool idea. It's very close to what I'd like to see as far as having options if I'm going to get a car anyway. But take a look and stay tuned. I'll give you my update, And if I push forward, then I'll kind of record the car I select and everything else. If you're interested, subscribe and see how this goes. So I'll leave it at that. You guys have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you later. See you.